All right, somebody said that Ben Shapiro was critical of Trump here.
Slow, steady progression. Its husband's body is being hidden because they're waiting for traces of yet another of Putin's Novichok to disappear. Novichok is a chemical nerve agent that kills you, and then eventually the signs of it wear off in the body. The Russian government thought it had worn off in the body, and then the Germans were able to actually detect it last time they used Novichok against Navalny. Okay, so Donald Trump then put out a comment on Navalny after several days of not saying anything. And he said, the sudden death of Alexei Navalny has made me more and more aware of what is happening in our country. It is a slow, steady progression with crooked, radical left politicians, prosecutors, and judges leading us down a path to destruction.
Man, really one note here, huh? This is, talk about staying on topic. The assassination of a foreign, political opponent reminds me of immediately right back to the same.
Open borders, rigged elections, grossly unfair courtroom decisions are destroying America. We're a nation in decline, a failing nation. MAGA 2024.
That's funny. Navalny also took issue with open borders.
Okay, so there are a few things to be said about this. One, the last half where he talks about the decline of the country and the militarization of the Justice Department, militarization of our judicial system, all of that part's true. It is totally wrong for Donald Trump to compare that to the judicial arraignment, arrest, and, without process, without due process, without real charges, jailing and murder of Vladimir Putin's political opponents. And it's wrong for two reasons. One, it suggests that the state of play in the United States is similar to the state of play in Russia, which degrades the United States. Things are bad in the United States. They ain't nearly as bad as they are in Russia. That is a difference in kind. And we should recognize that because...
a lot of Tucker Carlson's little visit over to Russia, there were a lot of extremely amusing attempts to make Russia seem a lot better than it was. One thing what you guys have to understand is that Russia's a shithole. It's not great. So I saw this video on Twitter where Tucker Carlson was like at a grocery store. Let me see if I can just find it. Hold on. It's very important that I find this now. It's immediately necessary that I find this. Hold on. Tucker Carlson. It should be on his Twitter. Like he tweeted it, right? Ah, found it. Okay, found it.
So I guess you put in 10 rubles here and you get it back when you put the cart back.
This is in so many countries. It's just America that doesn't have this.
So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment. Okay.
Do you guys have any idea how much money Tucker Carlson must be getting from the Kremlin, or I guess other benefits? For him, this former largest pundit in American television, to be like, look at this grocery store has so many products on the shelves. Look, like, oh, the Aldi stores in America have these. They're not a thing on the West Coast. I've never seen them on the West Coast. Whatever. But literally, he's literally doing the like, look, wow, in Russia, look at these advanced shopping cart technologies. Here's another Tucker gem. I saw this! Oh my God, this is good.
Tank it. Corruption. If you take people's standard of living and you tank it through filth and crime and inflation, and they literally can't buy the groceries they want, at that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country, and that's what our leaders have done to us. And coming to a Russian grocery store, the heart of evil, and seeing what things cost and how people live, it will radicalize you against our leaders. That's how I feel anyway.
People in Russia spend way more on their food than Americans do. Way more, because Russia's a poor country. Compared to us, a very, very poor country. Like this would be the equivalent of you going over to like the Philippines with American money and buying a bunch of shit with American money and going like, wow, everything's so cheap here. It must be in America, corruption. No, they just don't make any money over there. So of course everything's cheap over here. Like, yeah, you're using the American dollar. The average wage in Russia is $791 a month. That's less than $10,000 a year. Like, that's less than half what minimum wage would get you in the United States. And they spend a significantly higher proportion of that on food than we do, even with our much, 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 much higher wages. Meanwhile, rent in St. Petersburg is 900. Jesus. Tucker was bragging all the food he bought there was 100. Yeah, Tucker was bragging about how cheap all the stuff was when bought with his American dollar. No shit, dog, because the ruble is weak as he's literally glazing Russia with the brag that their currency is weak. When you go to a foreign country and your American money is able to buy a lot of shit, that's because their currency is weak compared to ours. Tucker sniffing bread? Is that bagged bread? Yeah, it is. Is he's sniffing the bag? Does he know? Does he know that bread is bagged? Does he know? A lot of fresh bread is baked and put in a bag. Okay, Tucker Carlson is insanely wealthy and an heir to even more wealth. Has he ever been in a grocery store? Do you think he shops? Like, do you think he shops himself? You know, it's like that Bush Senior bit. Remember? We've seen this before. Bush Senior shopping scanner. This incident is so infamous that it has its own Wikipedia article.
Remember that famous campaign stop where Bush Sr. was discovering, if you will, the wonders of the supermarket scanner?
No, don't talk over it. Play it. Hold on. H.W. Bush scanner. This has no audio, and I didn't even know you could have that few pixels in a video. Do you remember when Tucker was talking about how hard it was to keep up with the drama of his housekeepers? I do remember that. Yeah. I do remember that. Oh, what a wacky guy. Maybe supermarket scanner? Would that get me the... No, wow, I just cannot find a video of this. That's super annoying. Well, it's got a Wikipedia page. A lot of it. Wow. The CIA scrubbed it from the internet. Makes sense, given HW's background. All right, whatever. It's not really that relevant. Looking at Ben Shapiro.
Again, many of these problems are fixable with, say, elections, or, say, with moving, or, say, with impeachments of bad judges. If the same is not true remotely in Russia.
I remember this amazing video where Bill Gates had no idea how much shit cost. Ah, this is definitely copyright, right?
All right, we're going to test your knowledge.
I'll take 5.
I know. What do you think?
$4.
All right, that's floss. Floss as well is very important to keep. Totino's pizza rolls. 1 bag of Totina pizza rolls. Totina's. Have some tonight. Hi.
Go with 22.
Okay, sorry.
So it's problematic to compare America to Russia for 2 reasons. One, it degrades the actual state of play in the United States. When you hear journalists traveling abroad and decrying the state of censorship in the United States, in Russia, where they literally kill the dissidents, that's a bad look. It's not true.
Bad look.
But it also happens to downgrade the scale of what's happening in Russia, the state of evil that is happening in Russia. And Vladimir Putin is, in fact, a corrupt dictator. I know this has become unpopular to say in some circles. I don't know why. You can even make the case against American involvement in Ukraine without talking up Putin. But then again, I suppose you can't, because here is the thing. It is in America's interest to watch America's geopolitical rivals downgraded in terms of military capacity. It is not in America's interest to watch those geopolitical rivals gobble up large segments of the globe in terms of territory and population that have control over things like grain and oil. Making a realpolitik case for why the United States should basically acquiesce in Russian military land grabs, that's a very difficult case to make. So the only...
It's insane how, like, on this topic, Ben Shapiro is completely correct, and the response from the broader right basically just seems to be to call him a Jew. Like that, like, because on this he's correct. Like, he is you know, he's not a neocon, he is a fascist, but he's, you know, he's closer to being like the civic nationalist line of fascism. He's not as with less esotericism, you know, less of this like weird internationalist plurality, more national leaning. I don't know. It's a weird divide. Like, he's, yeah. But right now, like, the far right, the right broadly is just like pretty aligned with Russia, you know? He's sad and has no views. He's still plenty influential, but his influence is definitely waning, yeah. Fell off even? I wouldn't say so. I'm sure they'll get to that, though.